Hi boys and girls, this is Nick J. Barrett and we're doing another camera review, and this is a review for a camera that I've never really seen anyone talking about, that I use all the time. It's 1080p and I use it very much for what you're seeing it now, which is for taking pictures of documents if I want to send them, digitize them and send them over the internet. Now this is a picture that is, the camera is probably about 3 inches away, so that gives you a kind of good idea as to how close you can get. And then as I pull out, as you can see, this is video mode, but it kind of gives, a very good clarity, and it's more than good enough for sending in emails. But today I want to see whether this camera is any good for much else other than taking pictures of documents. So what is the camera we're talking about, and why am I starting off in a room which, as you can see by looking out the window, is lit with nothing else other than the light coming through the window? Well, the camera we're talking about, of course, is the camera on the latest iPad. So I want to see what this camera is. Now, I'm not going to say that this camera is going to be much good for shooting drama, but I'm interested to see as to how good it would be shooting documentary footage or shooting news footage, where you're not kind of wanting to put it on it's not important to put it onto a tripod or onto a dolly or onto a crane, because obviously you might struggle. So we're in the spare room here, and this just kind of gives you an idea as to how it looks under natural light. And it really is just one window I should say, in this room, which is lighting this whole area. And the great thing about this is, as I go along, I can tap the screen and it will just kind of put into focus what I want putting into focus. And all there is, this is actually quite dark in here, so it's probably gonna, when I look at this back, it might be a bit grainy, but looking through the screen it looks fine. And if we look back at this last room, you can see that there wasn't any other lights on, and what you were seeing, this train set down there, what you're seeing is literally just how it handles with the light coming through the room. That's just coming through the window. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm just tapping the screen as I go where I want the focus to go to. So as we can see, the picture looks alright. Well, from what I'm seeing here, it gets a bit dark as you go up to the bright window, obviously, so you have to tap. I'm now tapping on the walls to the side of the door in order to change the exposure. So let's just see what happens when we go outside. Now all cameras do that, so right, there we go. So as you can see, there's the cat there. It kind of handles quite well really, and it would be interesting to see what this looks like when it's on YouTube. Like I say, just kind of documentary work, it'd probably be fine. So let's have a look at some detail. If I'm wanting to get a close-up of this, there's my close-up. If I want to pull focus, start off with that in focus, and then this wall, and then go to the tree. can see it handles quite well. If I tilt up, because it's automatic exposure, it is going to go down, but all automatic cameras do that, so you just have to, I'm now going to tap on the trees and see if the exposure goes up a bit. So let's have a look at, let's go over here. So it's really just a question of making your own mind up whether you think it would be good enough for a documentary, and whether you think it can handle the sort of the contrasts. So now we're going to focus on these leaves, and I'm as close as I can get. There we go. That's on them, and then we go pull focus to the background. This is something that's happened with interest. So the pull focus, going from the foreground to the front to back, is a little bit sort of, it's not that smooth, it kind of, but again, if we're on something in the front of the picture and then go to something in the back, so then what about if I'm, hopefully, oops, this is still record, so what if I'm sort of walking and talking, doing an interview? If I'm walking and talking to the camera, now obviously I'm holding this in a sort of way that isn't very good for keeping it steady, but it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what it would look like if you were doing following somebody talking. But like I say, so you know, the colour representation's pretty good, and it handles quite well. It does pop in and out of focus, but you know, you've got to decide whether you're going to set up your shots so that they're static and then sort of focus, let the action happen, don't move the camera, and then cut to your next shot, let it settle, start the action, and then cut to your next shot like that, or whether you're going to do lots of moving shots where the focus is moving. It may get a little bit tricky, but then with news or with documentary, you know, you can get away with these things. Like I say, for drama, you might have, it probably wouldn't be appropriate just from a handling point of view of the camera operating. It wouldn't be particularly good, but you know, I think that it would work quite well. And you're not really going to be with this. You're not really going to be doing lots of telephoto. Let me just turn it round again. With this kind of shooting, you're not really going to be doing lots of telephoto or long lens zoomed in work. It's going to be more your kind of, for want of a better expression, more of your sort of reality TV, reportage, kind of handheld, the camera's in close with the action, and when you want to zoom in on something, rather than actually zooming in, you actually physically walk in with the camera in the hand, and it's much more close quarter filming. So I think this iPad would probably work better in that kind of styling, because obviously the zoom is not going to give you any sort of benefits whatsoever. Okay, this has been Nick J. Barrett. I just wanted to do this video. If you've got an iPad, the latest generation of iPads, that shoots 1080p, then you know I suggest you kind of get out there with your iPads and just kind of give it a go, see what it looks like, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Alright, I'll speak to you on another video.